Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes once seemed like Hollywood's ideal power couple, lighting up red carpets and captivating fans everywhere, especially with little Suri's arrival. But after their sudden split, everything changed, specifically for their daughter, Suri. Over the years, whispers have circled around Tom's strained bond with Suri, with many wondering if his deep ties to Scientology kept them apart. Now that Suri has recently turned 18, she made a move that left everyone in shock, including her own father. So, is it really true that Tom and Suri haven't crossed paths in over a decade? And what bold step did Suri just take that has everyone talking? Join us as we uncover the truth behind this family's drama that is making waves due to a reason no one saw coming. Now, before we talk about Suri, let's take a look back at her parents' relationship and the events that shaped everything. The real story behind Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes' unforgettable relationship. Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes' relationship seemed almost like a scripted Hollywood fairy tale. Katie, fresh off her success as Joey Potter on Dawson's Creek, met Cruise at a time when both were at the height of their careers. Although Katie was previously engaged to actor Chris Klein, her childhood fascination with Cruise became public knowledge in a 17 magazine interview where she once admitted he was her dream man. Not long after, Katie and Chris ended their engagement, and Katie was introduced to Cruise. The two hit it off, launching a whirlwind romance that instantly drew the media's attention. For Katie, stepping into Cruise's world meant encountering his unique lifestyle and particularly his deep commitment to Scientology, something she hadn't yet experienced. Now, before Katie came into his life, Tom Cruise had a few relationships that didn't seem to last, and some close to him suggested it had to do with his devotion to Scientology. The Church of Scientology played a huge role in Cruise's life, and even reportedly helped him audition potential partners. According to former Scientologists, the church would scout women for Cruise, hoping to find the right match who would also accept the church's beliefs. As Vanity Fair reported, actresses like Sofia Vergara and even Scarlett Johansson were rumored to have been approached, though Johansson strongly denied it, calling the idea demeaning and claiming only a man that would come up with a crazy story like that. But for Cruise, finding someone who was willing to be part of his life meant being part of Scientology. His past relationships with actress Nicole Kidman and Mimi Rogers reportedly suffered due to conflicts over the church's influence. According to a source, Kidman did not want to be involved with Scientology, which was a serious issue for Cruise. When Katie entered the picture, it became apparent that being with Tom also meant being involved with the church. Speaking of which, an actress named Nazanin Boniadi was even rumored to have gone through a vetting process to date Cruise, which allegedly involved constant monitoring and restrictions. This process didn't last, but for Holmes, it was only the beginning of her life inside Tom's world, the Oprah moment that defined their romance. In 2005, Cruise and Holmes' romance reached a new level when Cruise appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show and made headlines with one of the most unforgettable moments in television history. As he spoke about Holmes, Cruise's energy went through the roof. In what's now known as the infamous couch-jumping incident, Cruise declared his love for Holmes with over-the-top enthusiasm, going so far as to jump on Oprah's couch. With Oprah looking surprised but unfazed, Cruise continued to beam as he told the world he was in love, leaving no doubt about his feelings. He then ran backstage, bringing Holmes out in front of the audience, where she shyly smiled and hugged him. The dramatic gesture grabbed massive attention and instantly went viral. Yet it left Hollywood divided. Some loved the energy and passion, while others were put off by what they saw as an exaggerated display. Cruise's excitement seemed to overshadow everything, even the promotion for his upcoming movie War of the Worlds. Paramount, the studio behind the film, reportedly wasn't thrilled. Instead of talking about his film, Cruise's relationship antics had taken center stage. It was one of the first signs that this high-profile relationship might be more complicated than it looked. A silent birth and an unusual proposal. Not long after their public declarations of love, Cruise proposed to Holmes in 2005 at the top of the Eiffel Tower in Paris. Holmes may not have received the classic down-on-one-knee proposal, but she did walk away with a stunning 5-carat yellow diamond ring. Just a few months later, the couple announced that they were expecting their first child, and Cruise's hands-on approach to Holmes' pregnancy quickly made headlines. In an interview, he admitted to buying a sonogram machine, saying he wanted to monitor their baby's development at home. He promised to donate the machine to a hospital once they were done, but medical professionals voiced concerns. Sonograms, they warned, should only be performed by trained professionals. Then, on April 18, 2006, Suri Cruise was born under conditions that many found strange. Holmes gave birth in silence, which was because of a request inspired by Scientology. According to the church's beliefs, words and sounds made during childbirth can be harmful to both mother and baby. This practice, encouraged by the church's founder, L. Ron Hubbard, was one that Holmes reportedly agreed to, though many wondered how she truly felt about the silence. For Holmes, being with Cruise meant embracing the rules that came with his belief system. But as time went on, it seemed that the demands of Cruise's world and the constraints placed on Holmes were taking a toll. While they appeared to have it all, rumors about strain in their relationship continued to grow, setting the stage for a very public breakup that would leave everyone shocked. Speaking of which, did you know that Katie's parents weren't exactly thrilled about their relationship right from the very beginning? A rocky start with family concerns. Katie's parents, strict Catholics, weren't exactly thrilled by Tom's commitment to Scientology either, and that added to their worries. For them, this wasn't just about a partner, it was about Katie's entire lifestyle changing. Her parents' doubts came to the surface before the couple's grand wedding in Italy in 2006. As the day approached, rumors circulated that her parents might not even attend. They were uncomfortable with Katie's shift from her Catholic roots to Tom's beliefs. They feared the intense pull of Scientology and didn't want their daughter immersed in it. Despite these feelings, they eventually decided to show their support. At the rehearsal dinner, Katie's father, Marty Holmes, gave a heartfelt speech, sharing his respect for Tom and his love for Katie. Even though they weren't thrilled with Katie's choices, they set aside their concerns for the special day. It seemed, at least for that moment, they were willing to give their blessing. But speaking of their wedding, did you know that it was a wedding filled with red flags? Tom and Katie's wedding day was lavish, costing an estimated $3.5 million and held in a historic castle in Italy. But there were moments that hinted at the complexities in their relationship. Katie kept guests waiting a noticeably long time before walking down the aisle, with Tom standing patiently at the front, smiling. Actress Leah Remini, who attended the wedding as a Scientologist at the time, recalled that the wait felt like an eternity. According to her, Tom had even asked her to bring Jennifer Lopez and Mark Anthony to the wedding, highlighting the mix of personal ties and Hollywood connections that surrounded this ceremony. Speaking of which, the ceremony itself was very much in line with Scientology's unique customs, including some unusual vows. During the wedding, Cruise reportedly told Holmes, "Girls need clothes and food, tender happiness and frills, a pan, a comb, a cat," as a part of his promises. It was an unconventional approach to marriage vows, and many found it strange. But the wedding was also incredibly glamorous. Katie wore 2 custom dresses by Giorgio Armani, who also designed a matching dress for their daughter, Suri. Guests described the entire event as magical and like something out of a dream. Leah Remini later said it was so beyond what your mind could compute. For Katie, it seemed to be the fairy tale wedding she had once imagined. But this magical day was just the beginning of what would become a complicated marriage. Signs of control and isolation. In the early days of their marriage, Katie looked happy. But as time passed, those close to her noticed changes that raised questions. Katie started appearing more reserved, and some even said she looked robotic at times. Life with Tom wasn't easy to navigate. With his intense involvement in Scientology, Katie was expected to follow suit. This wasn't just a simple matter of faith. It meant constant oversight. Tom's handlers were always around, even in their home. And Katie was often accompanied by people assigned to monitor her activities. Journalist Maureen Orth shared her observations from a dinner with the couple in 2010. Fans constantly approached them during the meal, and Orth commented on the difficulty of their public life. Katie's response was telling, "Oh, we don't go outside very much." Holmes also distanced herself from friends and even family, cutting ties with parts of her old life. This isolation only seemed to grow over the years. Deb Baer, the journalist who interviewed Katie for 17 magazine when she was young and starry-eyed, noted the stark difference in her demeanor. Baer remarked on how Katie's public appearances became mechanical, as she would call Tom amazing for the 400th time. This was no longer the down-to-earth girl Baer had met. Katie's shift wasn't lost on Jenna Miscovich Hill, the niece of Scientology leader David Miscovich. Having grown up in Scientology, Hill understood the strain it could bring and shared her own experiences of mental and, at times, physical abuse within the organization. She expressed support for Katie, recognizing the challenges she likely faced. And so, after 5 years of marriage, Katie made a bold decision. A shocking split that took everyone by surprise. In June 2012, Katie filed for a divorce, which was a move that reportedly blindsided Tom. He admitted later that he didn't expect it. The timing was difficult for Tom, as the news broke just before his 50th birthday. Reflecting on the experience, he said, "To be 50, and then it hits you. This is it. What life can do to you." While he tried to maintain a positive outlook, admitting, "You need a sense of humor," the split was undoubtedly painful. Although Katie and Tom both initially continued to wear their wedding rings after the filing, the decision was final. For Tom, his 2 older children from his previous marriage to Nicole Kidman, Connor and Isabella, stayed by his side throughout the divorce. His spokesperson confirmed Tom's sadness and asked for privacy as he focused on his children. For Katie, however, the priority was her daughter, Suri. Katie's lawyer released a statement emphasizing that Katie's primary concern remains, as it always has been, her daughter's best interest. In the days following the announcement, Katie was spotted in New York looking noticeably different. Friends and fans alike observed a sense of relief on her face. The long-controlled life within Tom's world appeared to be over, and Katie seemed ready to start fresh with her daughter. Why Scientology played a role in their breakup. When Katie Holmes and Tom Cruise announced their divorce, many wondered if Cruise's intense dedication to Scientology was a factor. In a deposition, Cruise was directly asked if Holmes left him to protect their daughter, Suri, from Scientology. This question didn't sit well with him. Cruise found the question offensive and insisted that no one needed protection from his religion, but he did admit that it was a reason asserted by Holmes. When pressed further, he clarified that Suri wasn't practicing Scientology, which may have been part of Holmes's goal all along. Jenna Miscovich Hill, a former Scientologist and the niece of church leader David Miscovich, shared her understanding of Holmes's choice. She expressed support, especially since she herself had faced challenges growing up in Scientology. Hill emphasized her empathy as a mother, acknowledging that protecting Suri was likely a priority for Holmes. Speaking of which, Katie also asked for sole custody of Suri, which was a clear sign that she wanted control over her daughter's upbringing, particularly when it came to religion. With sole custody, Katie could make key decisions without interference, potentially shielding Suri from the influence of Scientology, financial settlements, and custody agreements. Katie Holmes didn't go through her divorce from Cruise without some legal expertise by her side. Her father, Marty Holmes, a skilled attorney, played an important role in helping her prepare. Even before her marriage to Cruise, Marty had negotiated a prenuptial agreement that ended up filling 5 bankers' boxes with paperwork. It turned out to be a smart move, allowing Katie to finalize the divorce within 11 days after she filed. This legal foresight gave her an advantage in keeping things swift and efficient when her marriage ended. Despite Cruise's estimated $600 million fortune, Holmes didn't walk away with a significant amount. Instead, she was to receive $400,000 per year in child support for Suri, which would continue until Suri turned 18. This totals around $4.8 million, which is a modest amount compared to Cruise's wealth. However, Cruise also agreed to cover all other expenses for Suri, including medical costs. Some speculated that Holmes accepted less money so she could retain more control over Suri's life, particularly in matters of education and religion. Accepting less may have been a way to keep Scientology out of Suri's life and ensure that Cruise had limited influence in her upbringing. Katie's new life post-divorce. After the divorce, Katie Holmes and Suri relocated to New York City, where friends noted a major transformation in Katie. She looked like a new person, eager to dive into the city's culture and opportunities. She expressed a renewed sense of freedom and creativity, sharing in an interview with InStyle that she felt more empowered and able to pursue her projects on her terms. "It's sort of like, just put your stuff out there and be yourself," she said. For Holmes, living in New York offered the chance to rediscover herself away from the shadow of her high-profile marriage. Holmes also found romance again, but with a surprising twist in her divorce agreement. She couldn't publicly date anyone for 5 years following her split from Cruise. This unusual condition meant that she had to keep any new relationships private, and she was also prohibited from introducing any partners to Suri. Despite these limitations, Holmes managed to date actor Jamie Foxx, although they kept their relationship under wraps. The pair quietly dated from 2013 until 2019. Holmes later shared that the relationship helped her regain her independence and break free of the rules she had once felt bound by. She explained, "I don't have a lot of rules for myself, and I don't take myself that seriously." Holmes seemed to find a new balance between work, personal life, and motherhood. Tom Cruise's connections with his children today. Tom Cruise's relationship with his children has remained complex. With his previous wife, Nicole Kidman, he adopted 2 children, Connor and Isabella. Both Connor and Isabella stayed involved in Scientology, which Cruise is famously dedicated to. Isabella, known as Bella, pursued a career as an artist and largely stayed out of the public eye. She also remained a devoted Scientologist, which likely helped maintain her relationship with her father. She got married in London, but neither Cruise nor Kidman attended her wedding. Despite their absence, Bella has denied any distance between herself and her parents, telling the Daily Mail, "Of course we talk. They're my parents." Connor, on the other hand, has dabbled in the entertainment world with a few film roles and works as a DJ. Like Bella, he rarely shares glimpses of his life with his parents on social media. However, he and Cruise were spotted together in 2019 in London, where they bonded over a private helicopter ride. Cruise's love for thrilling activities like helicopter piloting, a skill he honed for Mission Impossible, has helped him connect with Connor, even if they don't share many public moments together. But when it comes to his daughter Suri, things are quite different. Cruise and Suri reportedly haven't been publicly seen together since 2012, and it's unclear how close they are today. According to Hollywood Life, Cruise reportedly still loves his daughter deeply and hopes to rebuild their relationship someday. However, the connection between father and daughter appears distant, which has fueled speculation that Scientology's strict views have played a role in their separation. But the question is, has Tom been in contact with his daughter Suri after she turned 18, Or did things get even worse? A new chapter, as Suri turned 8. The big day finally arrived for Katie Holmes' daughter, Suri Cruise. On April 18th, she turned 18 years old, officially entering adulthood. Over the years, Katie and Suri have lived a low-profile life, away from the spotlight and far removed from Tom Cruise, who reportedly hadn't seen his daughter in over a decade. Since Katie gained full custody after their 2012 divorce, she has been Suri's primary parent. As part of the divorce settlement, Cruise had agreed to pay $400,000 a year for Suri's support, a deal set to expire once she turned 18. With Suri now an adult, Tom's financial obligations to her through child support came to an end. However, he may continue contributing towards Suri's expenses like health insurance or college tuition, since he is among the world's highest-paid actors. Speaking of which, rumors hinted that Katie was concerned about the end of these payments, but her attorney, Jonathan Wolfe, firmly denied it, calling these reports false and stating that Katie's finances would not be impacted by this change. It seems clear that Katie has been prepared for this next chapter. So what has Suri Cruise been up to lately? It turns out she is following her passions with Katie by her side. As Suri prepared for college, she and her mom, Katie, grew closer than ever. Although Suri avoided the spotlight, she embraced her creative side, much like her famous parents. Katie, who is a former Dawson's Creek star and now a director, involved Suri in her own projects, giving her daughter chances to contribute. Suri's voice was featured in Katie's films, singing a cover of Blue Moon in Alone Together 2022, and recently lending her vocals in Rare Objects 2023. This collaboration brought the two closer as Katie valued Suri's input. "I hope she always does something on my films," Katie shared with Glamour, adding that including Suri came naturally. To her, involving Suri created a safe, beautiful, creative space where they could work as family. As a mother, Katie expressed a deep love for this bond, saying, "It was very meaningful to me to have her there because she's my heart." Katie spoke candidly about the joy of seeing Suri grow and the importance of protecting her, especially given her public life since birth. Now, a young adult, Suri has made her mom proud, balancing her interests with a steady sense of independence. And as she steps into this new chapter, Suri carries forward both her parents' influence and the quiet strength she and Katie have cultivated together. Now, while their close bond has always drawn attention, recently, something else about Suri made headlines. Something that left many surprised. Tom Cruise's absence at Suri's graduation. When Suri Cruise graduated from high school in June, she celebrated the milestone surrounded by family and friends in New York City. But there was one specific person who was noticeably absent. It was her father, Tom Cruise. This sparked a lot of questions online about why the Mission Impossible star wouldn't attend his daughter's big day. While Suri stepped into adulthood, Tom was seen at the VIP tent of Taylor Swift's Eras tour, reportedly laughing and mingling with stars like Hugh Grant, Ashton Kutcher, and Mila Kunis. For many, the contrast between his high-profile concert appearance and Suri's graduation was striking. Speaking of which, rumors about Tom's distant relationship with Suri have circulated for years, especially as she grew up largely outside his world. With the custody arrangement that was granted to Katie, it's said that Tom had little involvement in Suri's upbringing afterward. Speaking of, did you know that after she turned 18, Suri decided to take a big decision in her life? She now goes by her mom's middle name, Noel, as her last name instead of Cruise. This is a gesture many believe reflects her loyalty to her mother. According to page 6, a source shared that Suri wanted her own identity and feels proud to carry a name connected to Katie. Suri's close bond with her mom, Katie Holmes. Suri and Katie share a strong, inseparable bond that's only grown stronger over the years. Since Katie took full responsibility for raising Suri after the divorce, the two have formed a unique mother-daughter relationship. They live a quiet life away from the Hollywood spotlight, and Suri, like her mom, prefers to keep things private. According to Us Weekly, Katie and Suri are known to be a real team and are more in sync with each other than ever. An insider even called their connection a beautiful thing to witness. This close relationship shows in many aspects of their lives. Suri often supports Katie in her projects, and Katie, in turn, is highly involved in Suri's life. In 2015, Suri contributed her singing talents to some of Katie's films, including Rare Objects in 2023 and Alone Together in 2022. Despite the challenges, Katie has built a world of stability and warmth for Suri, one that reflects her deep love and pride as a mother. As Suri begins her next chapter at Carnegie Mellon University in Pennsylvania, she seems ready for the independence that college life brings. Life as a college freshman and future plans. Suri officially announced her choice of school on her high school's decision day in June when she wore a Carnegie Mellon sweatshirt, which quickly gained attention on social media. In August, Katie was there to help Suri settle into her dorm, even carrying boxes and suitcases as they moved Suri's things into her new home. After a heartfelt goodbye, Katie returned to New York, adjusting to her new life as an empty nester, while Suri kicked off her college experience. Although she now lives in Pittsburgh, Suri returned to New York recently to support her mom at the Broadway debut of Our Town. On her weekend trip, she was spotted with her beloved cat, Eleanor, taking in the familiar sights of the city. Katie expressed her gratitude for family support on social media, sharing a backstage photo with her parents and sisters who attended her show's opening. It's unclear if Suri made it to one of the showings, but her brief visit marked a warm reunion with her mom, showing that the bond between them remained strong. With Katie proudly cheering her on from afar, Suri steps into this new chapter, ready to carve her own path, and her mother couldn't be prouder. Katie and Suri are now stepping out in style. Katie Holmes and her daughter Suri Cruise recently showed off their casual yet chic styles on the streets of New York City, bundled up in oversized jackets that showcase their distinct yet complementary fashion sense. Suri, currently a freshman at Carnegie Mellon University in Pennsylvania, was back in NYC and looked comfortable in navy pants, a puffy, shearling-lined denim jacket, and trendy boots, perfect for the fall weather. Katie, on the other hand, was keeping it classic, wearing a long camel coat over a gray sweatsuit with a tote bag and sunglasses to complete her laid-back autumnal look. It seems like Suri inherited her mom's love for fall layering, as the two were spotted in other stylish pairings throughout the city on previous visits. Katie expressed her pride in Suri's independent spirit, calling her an incredible person in a recent Glamour interview, while also saying how grateful she is to protect her daughter, especially given her early exposure to fame. But what about Tom Cruise? While Tom wasn't around for Suri's graduation or her big college move, he's been busy with his high-octane Hollywood career. Currently, he's working on Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 2, set for release on the 21st of May 2025. However, it's his other, even more ambitious project that's grabbed the public's attention. Cruise has plans to shoot a movie in space, collaborating with NASA and Elon Musk's SpaceX. This upcoming film, directed by Doug Liman, involves Cruise heading to the International Space Station, where he could even attempt a spacewalk, marking him as one of the first civilians to do so in a movie role. Cruise has teased that they're working on it diligently to make this project a reality. With Tom diving into groundbreaking projects while Suri and Katie thrive in New York, fans can't help but wonder, will Tom and Suri ever reconnect? What do you think? Is there a chance for this father-daughter relationship to mend? Or will things stay distant as both continue to build their separate lives? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more fascinating stories.